Hello and welcome to the season finale of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for all things Akron Zips athletics. We'll spend some time catching up with our three major spring sports before diverting into new territory as a bit of a farewell to a great season. For the last time this semester, I'm Max Aracey.
And I'm Dustin James.
And this is the ZTV Sports Report. A lot has happened since we last covered women's lacrosse, softball, or baseball, so we're excited to get back into that action and see how they've been playing. Let's start with lacrosse and take it over to Drew.
Hello Zit sports fans, this is Drew Youngdahl, and today we're going to be talking about the women's lacrosse team and how their season has been going thus far. The Zips have been having a very tough season as they currently have a record of 2-14 and are on a 12-game losing streak, which is really sad as the Zips started off the season pretty decent, winning their first game at home against St. Bonaventure, and they beat Kent State at home 11-6. Sophomore Noelle Boyd was the leading scorer of that game, scoring 6 goals on 6 shots, and she's actually the team point leader currently with 40. 35 goals and 5 assists. The other offensive leader for the Zips is junior Alexis Kiefer, who has 25 goals of her own, and she was named MAC Preseason Offensive Player of the Year. Looking at the defense, we have junior Julia Frombach, who was named MAC Preseason Defensive Player of the Year due to her being second in caused turnovers last year. However, junior Abby McMullen is the leader in caused turnovers with 25. Despite having some good players, the Zips have not won a game since the Kent State victory in February. They've had some tough losses, which include St. Francis, Cincinnati, and Robert Morris. Their biggest problem is turnovers. The team has 329 turnovers so far this season. I mean, turnovers will happen every game, but they haven't done a great job cutting down on them. At one of their most recent games, Zips faced off against Youngstown State at home. It was a close game as both teams combined scored 13 points in the first half. Noelle Boyd and junior Kaja Kuntu each netted 4 goals, but the Zips fell apart in the second half and Youngstown took the victory, with the final score being 17-14. So once again, the Zips lacrosse team has not been having the season that we all thought they would have. But the team is still young, and a lot of the big name players will be coming back next year, so there is definitely a lot of room for improvement. Let's just hope that the team can pull off at least one last victory before the season ends. This has been Drew Youngdahl with the ZTV Sports Report, and as always, go Zips.
So, since the last time we talked, doesn't seem the season has really gone the way that the team has been hoping.
Right.
I remember we talked about, in episode 3, we talked about that Kent State game and just how big of a win that is for your program.
Especially early in the season.
For momentum, but they haven't won a game since then. So, it's been a little rough.
Been a rough stretch. It's frustrating, obviously. Looking forward to next season, we're still a relatively young team, so there is some positives to look forward to. We still got some key players coming back. Offensively, though, it just was a lackluster season. I believe they were last in the MAC for goals scored, and obviously you're not going to win too many games if you're not scoring more than the other team. It's the whole point of the game. So obviously next year, if they can really improve their offense, start scoring, get up in the upper half of the MAC, then honestly I could see them being pretty solid. So
yeah, definitely. We talked about how they had the preseason players of the year.
Yeah, it's both
offensive and defensive. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing that hasn't really translated into success. But yeah, like you said, got a lot of returning talent.
Certainly,
and hopefully, they can make something happen as we finish this season and move into the next.
Right.
So next up, we're going to jump into softball. But before we do that, we do have to take a commercial break, unfortunately. So we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break now. When we come back, we'll be getting into softball.
You're watching ZTV. Hello and welcome back to Are You Smarter Than a Zip Grader? Let's get back to our contestants.
I'll take science for 300.
What shape is the Earth?
Flat?
That is not correct.
I'll take history for 500.
Name 3 of the highest-ranking American military officers in the War of 1812.
Colonel Sanders.
You both lose. If you want some accurate information, check out ZTV's 300 Seconds of Science and 5-minute flashback on 45-1 at these times and on YouTube.
Yeah! Sam, Elmo!
Oh, hey, Julia. You ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
You're watching ZTV.
So obviously, not the best stretch from the lacrosse team since we've last, looked at them. But, maybe the softball team has turned it around and we'll have a bit of a, bright spot there. Right. So let's take it over to John and see how the softball team's been doing.
What's up, everybody? I'm John Jackson, and today we're going to take a quick look into Zip softball. Let's get straight into it. While they had a rough start to the season, beginning at 0-9, their record currently stands at 17-26, giving them a winning percentage of 39%. They've turned their season around by playing well recently, having a record of 12-10 in the conference. The Zips must love the home cooking though, because when they're playing at home, this is when they play at their best. They have a home record of 9-2. That's really good if I do say so myself. In comparison, their road record leaves some room for improvement, as it currently stands at 6-13. But I'm confident that this talented group can improve upon this later in the season. One reason to believe that even more improvement will come from this team has to relate to the Zip star pitcher, Lexi Petrov. For the year, she has an ERA of 3.56, while also having 70 strikeouts. Other important pitchers have been Alexa DeFeo and Olivia Otani. Another talented player I could point to is Jaden Bryant, having a batting average of .297. The stat that immediately catches my eye is that she has 8 home runs for the season, the highest amount on the team. Molly McChesney has also been putting in quality bats at the plate, tallying a season batting average of .340 up to this point. Other important players have been Lexi Campbell, Angela Cerrone, among others. However, even with this talented group, Northern Illinois was not an easy matchup. Zips would be the first one to strike in the first inning, but by the time the 4th inning rolled around, it was an even ball game. By now, though, this is something the Zips are used to, given they had to claw their way back into the season. In the 6th inning, the Zips would take over the game and come out with the W, sweeping the series against Northern Illinois. They won both of their other games by a score of 4-3. That's how you close out a team, ladies and gentlemen. Their next game against Toledo would prove to be an even tougher challenge. In the 1st inning, both teams came out swinging, but things would take a turn for the worse in the 3rd inning, as Toledo would take a 5-2 lead, and this would be the case for the majority of the game. Still, if there was a glimmer of hope in any sense of the word, Toledo will also remain scoreless for the rest of the way. Once again, doing what they've done all season long. The Zips will make an absolutely commanding comeback and take over the game in the 6th inning, ultimately coming out victorious. Just like the Northern Illinois series, the Zips were also perfect against Toledo. Outside of the 6-5 victory, the team would also win the 2nd game of the doubleheader by a score of 11-8. Looking at this game and this season, credit has to be given to this team's resilience and the coaching staff. Despite the unfortunate start to their season, they haven't let that get to their heads, and hopefully they continue to play strong. The heart of this team is infectious, that's all I have to say. I've been your host, John Jackson with the ZTV Sports Report, and I'm signing off. Goodbye, everybody.
Well, there we go. Dustin, how we feeling?
Obviously we talked about softball earlier in one of our earlier episodes, and they had a really rough start at the moment. I think they were 0-9. The offense was just really lackluster. The pitching was finding its way. And since then, they've been a 500 team. They're now sitting at, I believe it's 16-27. So they really turned things around. It seems like, as a team, they're kind of coming together a little bit more collectively. And, they did have to work through getting a new coach. They only have an interim head coach right now. And I'd imagine that played a pretty big part in their beginning of their season. So.
Yeah. All things considered, especially as they've moved into conference play.
Yeah.
Because I remember we did talk about how that 0-9 wasn't the full story.
Yeah.
They had some really tough competition in those games.
Yeah.
So it's nice that they've really been able to turn the season around. They've been playing really good lately.
Yeah.
I think you've got to give props to a few players in specific.
Yeah, certainly.
On the offensive side, Molly McChesney is batting .340, and Jaden Bryant has hit 8 home runs.
As a freshman.
And is she a freshman?
Yeah.
Wow. So not only, the next highest is 5. So obviously they've got people hitting home runs past just her, but that's a very big piece of your offense.
Especially as your shortstop, you don't really expect that. So
definitely. And then on the more on the pitching side of things, Lexi Petrov has really been their probably best starter so far this season. Every time she pitches, you just feel comfortable about it.
Right.
You feel like they got a good shot to win.
It's a competitive game.
And then Alexa DeFeo has been great, coming out of the bullpen. It's a really, solid 1-2 punch.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, I think we should be really happy with, the last month or so of softball, especially after they got off to that bad start.
Yeah.
So a lot of good things,
Certainly.
and hopefully they continue playing like that. So softball is obviously doing pretty well lately. So I want to find out if baseball is doing the same. So let's take it over to Josh and catch up with the baseball team.
Man, what's up, everybody? Y'all should be mad hype right now because y'all know what time of the year it is. It's getting hot, we're getting closer to summer, and you know what that means. It's dinger season. So with that being said, this is Josh, and I'm coming at y'all with some men's baseball. Let's get it. Right now, we're looking at the first game of the Zip series against Western Michigan. And look at the freshman Ian Pennington as he crushes one deep for a 2-run double to put the Zips up in the 3rd inning. And then literally the next at bat, we got Cameron Benson up. The pitch is hung high and he crushes it. 2-run home run to put the Zips up 4-1, bottom of the 3rd inning. And let me just say, Cameron Benson is something special. The shortstop has a .281 batting average and he's hit 5 home runs in just 135 at bats. The man is just a pitcher's worst nightmare. He's really something scary. And in this particular game, we love to see how the Zips were played. As you can see, Western Michigan was driving in some runs, but for every run they ran in, the Zips had an answer and then some more. It is just good baseball. Just look at it. Bottom of the 4th, bases loaded, Ian Pennington does what he needs to do, records a hit, brings a man home. Then after that, we got Tate Wargo at bat, crushes one deep center, drives in a couple of runs. We love to see it. It was just a beautiful display of hitting by the Zips. Runs were getting driven in and not too many points were being left out on the bags. Once again, it was just beautiful baseball. It was good baseball. And the reason I feel the need to put so much emphasis on this Zips hitting is Western Michigan put up 5 runs. They didn't play bad. It's just Zips had overwhelming offense. And one more time, let's look at Cameron Benson. He gets the pitch and he crushes it. And he knows it's gone as soon as he makes contact with it. Like he's jogging. Look at him. He's different, man. Looking at the second game, only thing I could really say is you win some, you lose some. The Zips pitching wasn't the best, and Western Michigan came to play. In sports, sometimes it's hard to keep that momentum rolling and things don't go as planned, and that's what happened in this one. The pitching wasn't the greatest, the fielding wasn't the greatest, and Western Michigan did what they needed to do to win this one 12-0. And for this Akron team, I think their biggest issue is just inconsistency. They'll come out looking like a real solid squad, and they'll do what they need to do to get the dub. And then the next few games, it just won't be there like it was before, and they'll let the next few games go. And that's why they stand where they stand. Currently, the Zips stand at 10th in the MAC with a 9-19 conference record, 11-28 overall. That's not the greatest, but hopefully they can turn this around and make this season something. Anyways, that's all I got for y'all. This was Josh with the ZTV Sports Report. Peace.
So, obviously it was nice to see that one win in the Western Michigan series. Unfortunately, that was the only win they could pick up. But, that's the way it's going to go sometimes. Right. 11-24 on the season, so can't say they've exceeded our expectations. But granted, we weren't expecting 24-11.
Right.
So it's kind of in line with about what we were expecting. But, it doesn't seem like this is really going to be the breakout year like
Right.
maybe we hoped.
Right.
So,
And obviously, it is a newer program still, so we can't expect anything crazy. But you hope that going through the season, the team gets stronger, and you can kind of see that. But if you look back at our last two series, first one against Ball State and then Central Michigan, we only won one of the 8 games, and it was 4-3. So, the fact we barely snuck out of that and only put up 4, while in the other 8 games we only scored more than 4 runs one time, it translates over to why we're last in the MAC, unfortunately, for batting average and runs.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a young team, so you can't truly get frustrated about that because obviously it's going to take time. Baseball's not easy. But, you kind of just wish that they were moving in at a little quicker
more.
speed. But
Yeah. On the topic of young players, though, I do feel like we should give a shout out to a certain freshman named Cameron Benson.
Yeah, certainly.
He's been playing short for them this year, hitting towards the top of the lineup pretty much for most of the season at least. I know he's hit 3 in the 3-hole for at least a while.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's been there permanently or if he's been bouncing around, but he's been a huge offensive component to this team, especially as a freshman. He's hitting just under 300, and he's got 5 home runs, which leads the team.
Some good pop for a freshman.
For a freshman, definitely. And he's not the biggest guy. So,
yeah, that's true.
It's not just sheer muscle, he's just a quality hitter.
Right.
So, granted, his season hasn't been perfect. He does strike out a lot, and he has made a lot of errors in the field. But I feel like that's kind of par for the course when you're a younger player.
Right.
You're definitely going to be a little bit raw.
Right.
But that talent right there is the type of thing that encourages us
certainly
moving forward. So, hopefully we get more players like him in the future, and hopefully other players that are currently on the team step up to that same spot.
Right.
So that'll be pretty much it with the baseball team. So nothing great, but it could be worse.
Right, absolutely.
So I think we're about due now to take our second commercial break. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into that. So stay tuned.
You're watching ZTV.
I should have known my demise was at hand. My life was ended in a single snap from a madman. But, to everyone's surprise, I have returned.
You are loved. You are valued. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
You're watching ZTV.
Welcome back. So, unfortunately, that baseball discussion is pretty much marking the end point of our season. We're coming to a wrap here. And while we do have a bit of a special finale planned for everybody, first, Dustin, just give me your thoughts, on the season as a whole. I was really glad you were able to do this with me. This was definitely a new experience for both of us, but it's been a great time.
Right.
So,
I appreciate the offer. This has been, like you said, an absolute blast. I hope that, we can continue this next semester. And, looking forward, we got some great teams to, look out for. It's going to be exciting because we have lost some key players in a couple of our programs, but, that leaves room for younger players to step up and fill those shoes. And then as well, we got some young teams that got some new coaches as well. It's going to be exciting to see where, all those teams can head towards this next year.
Definitely a, great span of content that we'll have for the, future fall semester. So yeah, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for doing this with me. It's been a great time.
Of course.
So, before we wrap up, in terms of social media, as always, you can catch us on Instagram and Twitter at ZTV Sports, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at ZTV Sports Report. So to end up the season, we do have a bit of I don't even know really what to call it, but it was a lot of fun for us, and hopefully you guys have fun watching it as well. So, as always, I'm Max Arisi.
I'm Dustin James.
And thank you for watching a great season of the ZTV Sports Report.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Sunburn Invitational Cornhole Tournament, presented by ZTV Sports. We got a lot of exciting matchups coming up today, don't we?
Oh, most certainly. A lot of good stuff to get to. And we're going to waste no time jumping into that first game, a matchup between Dustin and Dan and Drew and Josh. So for those who don't know, cornhole rules, we're playing to 21. In the hole is 3, on the board is 1, and then you split the difference between the two teams. And how about that right there from Dustin?
Excellent.
2 in the hole on the same shot. And a third? Oh no, Josh able to save a little bit, but still a 6-0 start for Dustin and Dan.
Right, and they keep dominating through this first game here as they get off to a 14-0 lead.
Yeah, this game's going quick already, I must say. But, let's see if Josh and... Wow.
20-0 lead already. Can Josh...
Going fast. Looks like pretty much all the action this game has been on, this left side of the board with Dustin and Josh. Ooh, Josh able to get a little bit, so...
Yeah, can Josh prevent this from being a complete 21-0 shutout? And no, he can't.
Dustin he's a little scared that he's going to knock Josh's in the hole, so he's being pretty cautious. And that was Josh's last attempt to bring this back within reach, and he couldn't do that. So we move on to the second game, Dustin and Dan versus John and Max.
Yeah, let's see if Dustin and Dan can complete the sweep here in this first round.
Yes, if they do.
Wow. That one went right in.
Straight cash from Dan right there.
Straight Steph Curry there.
And another one.
Sinks another one.
Can Max get a little something to bring it back? No, he can't. Wow, look at this. We're already moving. We're moving really fast.
Lead really quick, but that's the end of the shutout for the blue team here.
Max able to make one right there. Hopefully he can kind of bring it back within reach. On the board, doing nice so far. So if Dustin and Dan do win this, that is the round 1 of the tournament in their hands. So
a lot being scored here in this particular match.
Yeah, it looks like Max has got a good feel for it this set. 1 in the hole and the other 3 on the board. So at least able to bring a couple points back into the equation, but this is still looking pretty bleak for John and Max, I must say.
Yeah, definitely.
And there we go.
That ends it.
That'll do it. Looks like John's been struggling a little bit these first couple games, but I think he'll definitely get there.
Right, so we're going to move on to round 2. We got Max and Drew versus Josh and Dan.
Ooh, and Drew's starting off with a little something right there.
Right, already off to a 6-0 start.
So Max definitely, probably not feeling great about that loss that he just took.
But certainly getting that revenge, off to a 13-0 start already.
Ooh, back-to-back from Max and Josh. They're both feeling good right now, it looks like.
Absolutely.
Ooh, look at that. What's that? 1 in the hole and another in the hole. Oh, and Josh knocks his own off the board.
And he played himself. 16-0 lead already for Max and Drew.
Moving pretty quick, but Josh able to sink that one and, save this set because Max was about to walk away with 3 points.
All they need is 2, but it looks like a comeback may be upon
us.
And
another splash from Josh.
Wow.
This game is, Max and Drew are right there, but it just doesn't seem like they can close it out. But he does get that cash right there to, at least bring it back a couple points.
Right, 19-13 lead here. Can they complete the comeback?
That make from Drew does give them 22 points, so... It's up to Dan from this point on. If he can't make anything, that's going to be game. Ooh, close shot, but nothing there.
All right, one last shot for Dan. It's all on him now.
This is it.
Can he do it?
Oh, no, he cannot. So that'll do it for game 3.
What a loser.
Max and Drew walking away with the victory. So now we head into game 4, Dan and Josh versus John and Dustin. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, Dan with a nice little make right there. John starting to get the feel of it. It looks like that was a nice shot right there with a nice motion. So is that one.
Yeah, starting to feel himself now.
Dan still got the lead this set, though. Ooh, John almost knocks his own off, but, man, he's able to keep it on.
Definitely a slower moving start compared to the last couple.
Yeah, those first 2 games, and those first 3 games really started fast. This one's taking a little bit more time.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see Dan and Dustin going up against each other, considering how dominant they were in the first couple of
Oh, in and out from Dustin. He cannot be feeling good about that one. But he follows it up with that, so I think he's doing all right. Josh able to knock one of Dustin's off, and Dustin makes another.
Wow.
That look on Josh's face says it all. Dustin and John have retaken the lead.
And this has been our closest game yet.
Ooh, so it does look like we've lost the footage for this set. So hopefully, this isn't where the climax of the game happens, but it is.
It does.
And Dan and Josh pull out the victory in Game 4, and we move on to the finale. So if Drew and Max win this game, they'll be the winners of this second round. If Dustin and John win, we'll probably have to go by point differential to see who comes out on top.
For sure. And it looks like Dustin's already
John
off to
with a good
start.
shot. Yeah, John with a good shot right there. But Max follows it right up with one of his own. Yeah, John's really getting the hang of it as we've gotten into these last couple games. He's starting to make some good plays. Right, yeah. 2 in a row right there.
One thing I've noticed about the gold team's cornhole bags is that they are sticking pretty much.
Definitely looks like one side is muddier than the other, for sure. Drew with that nice shot right there. Can he do it again? Oh, he almost can. Ooh, that was a great round from both
on the board
both players right there.
I take back what I said earlier.
Good
It looks
shot.
like this is going to be our closest
Oh,
one.
Dustin, what are you doing? Cannot be happy with himself after that one. Drew playing really solid right now in this game.
Yeah, Dustin's getting a little cold now.
Yeah, he's got to bring it back real quick. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a little conflicted with these muddy cornhole bags. Probably has to change up his shot a little bit, given how, they're not quite sliding like they used to be. And
Right.
Max knocks John's in the hole. Wow. But he's able to make all 4 of his on the board, so they do still pick up a little. Ooh, Drew, that as of right now, that does it. Currently a 2-point advantage for Drew. So Dustin's got to give us something, a 1-point advantage. So still on pace to win. Oh, and Drew sinks another. That should be the nail in the coffin.
It looks like it will be.
Wow. And Dustin, yeah, he's not even trying on that last shot. He knows it's lost, but wow, what a game to finish it up. Max and Drew are the champions of round 2. And of course, Dustin and Dan were champions of round 1. But it's been a good time. Thank you guys for watching the first ever Sunburn Invitational. And be sure to stay tuned for the full uncut version of the tournament. Thank you for watching, and go Zips.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.